welcome to my art channel. Recently, I got a chance to go to the Van Gogh immersive event in Los Angeles. The magnification of his paintings, being that close to them, because a few days before that I actually went to the museum and saw some of his paintings at the Norton Simon, and being in the immersive experience where you're basically surrounded by them, sort of, some of them are in motion and in transition, and the show basically tells a story of Van Gogh's life through his paintings, from when he first started painting the potato eaters all the way through his time in Arles. And it's really, really worth seeing if you are a Van Gogh fan at all, and even if you're not, you may have a whole new appreciation for his work if you see it, because you really are sort of in his paintings, and I really appreciate it. But the one thing that I came away from there really thinking about, and after seeing his paintings up close just a few days before, was that his well, it's about the paint. And so then I started going and looking at some of the paintings in my own house that I have that are originals, and I was really kind of examining some of them close up. And maybe this is why when I go to museums, I tend to make the security people really nervous, because I like to get super close and get a really good look at what's there. And I never really knew exactly why I like to do that, and maybe it's because number one, I like to see how the paint was manipulated, and then when you back up and step away from it and take a broader view, you get to see how it all sort of comes together. But you know, my technique for this is I always stand with my hands behind my back, and they know I have no intent to actually touch anything, but I like to get pretty close so I can actually see what's going on there. So this whole idea of it's about the paint playing around in my mind a lot, and so that's kind of where I'm trying to focus my energy on my painting right now, is just really thinking about the paint itself and how I'm using it, and what does that convey, to the viewer, and just a lot of things like that. A lot of times when you're painting outdoors, not this type of outdoors, because I'm on my deck and I'm painting something from a photograph, which is, studio work is very different than painting outdoors in plein air. And when you paint that way, you have a limited amount of time, depending on how much light you have and which part of the country you live in and how quickly that light fades. So you have a limited amount of time, so you can only get so much paint on a canvas in a few hours. When you have more time and you're in your studio, you can really think about maybe a little more about what you're doing, a more considered approach, more thought out strategy, so to speak. And anyway, I just wanted to, and probably somebody by now is going, hey, I thought I was going to pop in and see you paint something, and you're just jabbering on, which is okay. It's okay if you feel that way, I don't mind. I just have to get it out, it's just how it goes. But anyway, yeah, so in front of us at the moment is a blank canvas, but a palette with colors, and I do intend to paint something. I just don't have my other camera here at the moment. It's actually where I'm building my airplane at the moment. So, but I've got my normal palette that I've been using now for a while, the lemon yellow, the yellow ochre, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, and then a little phthalo blue green shade, and of course titanium white. So still sticking with that. What I'm going to be working on is a painting kind of down by Huntington Beach. I was down there one evening and really kind of enjoyed the way the light was kind of streaming across the horizon. There was some cloud formations up above, and there were still some surfers in the water, even though it was getting dark pretty fast. So that's kind of what this painting is all about. Was just sort of the drama of all of that going on at the same time. The light was fading in a hurry. I was kind of surprised that surfers are still in the water. I surf, but I don't stay in the water after dark. But it was pretty dark. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'll just kind of take some video as I go along and just show you some different stages and kind of talk about what's happening, since obviously I won't be able to record straight through using my phone. So I am recording with my phone right now. So anyway, I'm gonna get kind of a base started here, and then I can kind of talk you through where I'm headed. All right, so here's the basic start of the painting, and you can kind of see you've got kind of the beach over here, and this along the horizon is a bunch of palm trees and some buildings and lights and things. What's interesting about this painting is that the darkest dark and the lightest light live next to each other. So this orange yellow color in here is one of the lightest things in the whole painting, and then this area here is like the darkest thing in the whole painting. So now I'm just gonna sort of establish a couple of those values and get them kind of living next to each other. And so what I'm thinking is I'm gonna kind of have some maybe ultramarine and some burnt sienna. That's gonna probably be over in here. And then these are mostly like palm trees and stuff that are over here. So I'm gonna save kind of this area, but the lower portion of this is very dark. So I'm just gonna get some of this in here just for now, and then we'll cut back into it to kind of create our palm trees after we get our yellow in there. And now I just want to test how this is going to work out on the horizon here. And what I'm looking for is really close to trying to establish kind of what my lightest light is. So I'm mixing some of my lemon yellow and some of my alizarin crimson. And then I'm going to even take that just a little bit lighter. And so this lives kind of in here like this. Let's get a little yellow back in that so it doesn't get chalky on us. Now I just wanted to do this so I can see what that relationship is. Everything else has to play off of that. So what I'm thinking is now I'm going to go in and I'm going to sort of establish that whole band across there, get it the value that it needs to be, sort of like working like this. And then once I get that established, then I can move on, and I want to start working the water and getting the water where it needs to be. And then we'll move back over to the land and kind of get that. We've got some There's some elements in here. There's sort of some lifeguard towers that recede into the distance here. There's 4 or 5 of them that are along here, and they're all good supporting elements that say, you know, beach. So I want to make sure I get those in. So I'm gonna keep going here a little bit further, and then I'll bring you into where I'm at. All right. All right, so now I've got this, I've kind of got this right where I want it as far as a value relationship goes, especially here. And so the clouds, I was going to jump to the clouds, but I think I'm going to save those and just leave them kind of overall the way they are. The way the water is in here is, this is kind of the main wave in the foreground, and then they sort of recede back here, and then this water in here is kind of flat, and then the water back behind here is, of course, darker. It's catching more light where it's flat and less turbulent. So now I'm going to hop in here and sort of define some of the water area. And I'm going to start with just kind of this flat area in here first, and I'm going to work my way sort of back into the waves. So, and then I'll go over to the backside. Yeah, so that's where I'm at so far, and this will probably get just a little bit, just a touch darker right along some of the bottom edges here in the sky. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going. All right, so just an update for you. This is where I'm at the moment. I've got just kind of the formation of this wave in the foreground here. And just wanted to get the shape and just get some of the values kind of in there. And it's actually a pretty good sized wave, because there's a surfer right here, just behind this break here, and then there's some surfers waiting out here, and there's some people waiting over here. So there'll be a few of those in here. On the horizon back here, you can't see it yet, but there's actually there's some ships waiting to get in the port back here. I may decide to go ahead and put those in, or I may just do a really kind of a lighter skyline, because that's looking all the way back kind of toward Long Beach back there. So there's quite a bit of skylight back behind that. So now that I've got just this basic wave here, I'm going to jump over here and just sort of define a little bit of this land area here, and then I will yeah, maybe I'll take a break for a minute, grab something to drink, just kind of study this a little bit, and see where it goes. All right. All right, so that's where I'm at so far with this. By the way, this is an 18 by 24. In case you were curious about the size, it's a little bigger than I would typically paint, but I'm gonna start painting a little bigger. So I've actually got an 18 by 36 over here that I intend to paint with as well. So I started defining a little bit over in here, get this a little more kind of solidified, and then I was just getting a few details in the background here, and now the next step is I'm just going to kind of come in and kind of do this, a little bit of the clouds right in here, and then I think that's probably all I'll have time for today. But let me do that. Just looking at these clouds were really kind of fluffy and stuff, but I think I need to get some of the background blue greens in there before I actually jump to doing the clouds over top of any of that, because they sort of need to work in and around them. So I think I'll come back in with a little bit of color, a little sky color, and then I will jump to kind of some of the clouds that are dropping down there. All right, here we go. All right, so this is where I'm going to stop for today, and we will continue this really soon. You can see kind of how I started working the clouds here, kind of compared to this just flat area up here. Just getting some dimension, some various colors. This warmer color here opposed to this cooler color here. I want to stick with these warmer colors, so I'll have to work on that and not get there, but actually get there. So, but basically that's where I'm at so far. Get a good view for you here. All right, so thanks for hanging out with me today and watching me kind of get started on this painting. There's a competition coming up for artists who live in Long Beach, and so I've got a couple pieces. I'd like to do this one that I'm gonna enter for that show. So yeah, hey, it's great to be posting something on the art channel. The airplane build has been pretty incredible. I'm getting really close to actually putting the fabric on the plane, so I'm getting close to finishing. I've been flying, learning how to fly a tail dragger up in Santa Paula, so I've been really busy doing that. But hey, I will be painting a bunch of videos before you know it. So hang in there, and I hope you're doing well, and I'll catch you later.